Hi, this is Mike from Hoaxes and Phishing Reviews and How To, and tonight we're going to talk about hacking and phishing. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so you've possibly in the past had a phishing email come through to your inbox, and it's along the lines of something like we are from Inland Revenue, or we are a government agency and we are trying to give you a refund, or we are some foreign national who wants to give you 10 million, but in order to do so we need your bank account details so we can make a transaction. All those kinds of things, and a lot of them come through and they're relatively generic, and you look at them and you pretty much immediately delete them. But recently they've got a lot smarter. Now, I've had one come in my inbox, and actually it was actually shocking how good it was, and it had me worried for a minute, but then I realised it was just a hoax, and it wasn't something to worry about. But I thought if I was being concerned about it, then I should share it with you guys, so you don't have to be concerned about it, or you can go through what I went through to find out if it is a malicious hack or not, or if it's a phishing attempt, or whatever it may be, or some kind of hoax. So the message reads out, hi, and it gives you your username or email, and it says, I know you are, and it gives a old password that you use. Now, the emphasis on this is an old password. So the fact that initially it comes up saying, I know who you are, and gives you a password that you've used in the past, starts ringing alarm bells straight away. So you read the rest of it, and it's basically along the lines of the usual thing, we've been tracking you, you've been onto a website, you've been doing something you shouldn't have been doing, give us $7,000 to a Bitcoin address and we will delete the data. Otherwise, if you don't respond in 24 or 48 hours, then we'll send this information to your Facebook feed, that kind of thing. So you think, oh, that's pretty scary, but obviously none of it's true. But how did they get the information? How did they get that password? Now, that's what led me to investigate it slightly. Now, there is actually a website you can go to, which is called haveibeenpwned.com. Now, I'll put the links to this in the description below so you can check out for yourself. And I would strongly suggest, if you've got an email address that you use a lot, or multiple email addresses, put them in the website and see if they've actually been part of any major security breaches that have happened over the years. Now, I've got 3 main email addresses that I use on a relatively frequent basis. So if any of them are kind of hacked or anything, it is slightly problematic. So I thought I'd check out all 3 of my addresses. Now, 2 of my addresses, fortunately, have had no problems whatsoever, and they got a green light and they have not been pwned or compromised. But one of my email addresses, which I've had for probably 25, 30 years, no, actually, how old am I? Yeah, about 25 years. That address has actually been compromised 9 times. Which actually floored me, because I didn't know it was quite that bad. I knew my email address had been gone to certain websites which had problems, but I didn't know whether my details had actually been leaked. Now, I have actually changed my password, as I do frequently anyway, to avoid this kind of thing, but it was still slightly disconcerting. So basically, if you've been on Facebook, LinkedIn, PC World Couriers in the UK, and there's a long list. Again, if you go to haveibeenpwned.com, you can see what sites have leaked your information, and it is actually quite frightening. So I definitely recommend you checking that out. So if you get one of these phishing emails, sorry, to go back to what I was originally talking about, if you get one of these phishing emails or scam emails and they've got your username and password on there from some distant memory that you had, then it's definitely worth checking it out in there and seeing that it is a possibility that someone has got that address and that password. Now, normally what happens in the black market is that information that was leaked all those years ago kind of gets passed around and churned around. So the phishers or scammers, they use the information and they send out bulk emails using that old data, just in the hope that somebody somewhere is scared enough to actually cough up the money and make it worth their while. Now, that's partly why I'm doing this video, to kind of get the message out there and try and educate people, and so actually a lot of people kind of have had mental health issues or breakdowns, or even sort of had suicide attempts or actually killed themselves because of these kind of emails, because they were so worried that their families might find out things they'd been doing, or that they may think they'd been doing something which they haven't, and they were actually terrified, so much so that it cost them their lives in the end. So really does help to get this message out there. Let people know, tell your friends, tell anyone who uses a computer about it, about these phishing attempts and the hacks and the methods they use for it. I would totally recommend you share this video to your friends and family, and also the two website addresses, which I'm going to leave in the thing below, is haveibeenpwned.com, and the other one is www.hoax-slayer.net. Now, hashslayer.net is a fantastic resource, and if there's been any hoaxes on the internet, on Facebook, Messenger, email, whatever, chances are it's going to be on this site. It's got a list of all the latest hacks which are going on, and it's also got different categories and the top 10 of all time. There's a main menu. Basically, you can go in there, you can search. So if you've had any kind of phishing or hacking attempt, you can go through there, and generally you can find a very, very similar kind of thing which has happened to you. Obviously, these people, when they do it, the bots that run these programs change things very, very slightly, just to keep things a little fresher and a little bit more believable. But generally, they all come down to a very, very, very similar template. So again, go to either one of the sites listed in the description below to find out more information. Hopefully, if you've been a sort of victim of any of these scams or hacks or hoaxes, maybe you've learned something, and maybe you can learn something from both of these websites and from this video. If you've liked this video, give it a like, and definitely make sure you subscribe, and definitely make sure you share this to your friends and family to get the message out there, so that we don't have to be victims of these kind of horrible things. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. If you've got any questions, comments, or anything else you want to discuss on the subject of hacking, phishing attempts and all that kind of stuff, then please do put it in the comments, and I will answer as quickly and as honestly as I can. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.